We live in a world defined by connection. We are constantly tethered, linked by screens and signals, existing in an endless stream of interaction that demands our attention, our energy, and our emotional response. This constant state of being connected is both comforting and profoundly exhausting. It is the weight of modern existence, the subtle, persistent pressure we feel from the demands of the digital world. Think for a moment about how we connect now. We communicate across vast distances instantly, yet often remain deeply alone within those connections. We scroll through curated lives, watching moments that are polished and perfect, and in doing so, we measure our own reality against an impossible standard. This creates a subtle tension. The desire to be seen, to engage, to belong, constantly battling the internal need for silence, for simply to be. The weight of this connection isn't just about the messages we receive or the likes we accumulate. It is about the expectation that we must always be performing, always reacting, always available. It pulls us out of the quiet, unassuming reality of our own experience and thrusts us into a perpetual state of external focus. We mistake activity for fulfillment and constant engagement for true presence. When we are tethered to this digital noise, our inner landscape becomes cluttered. Our minds race ahead, worrying about what we should be doing next, dwelling on what others are doing, and struggling to find the simple, steady anchor of the present moment. This is where stress resides, in the gap between what we feel internally and the relentless demands of the external world pressing in upon us. The antidote to this weight is not disconnection, but a subtle redirection of attention. We don't need to sever the ties of human connection. We simply need to change how we relate to them. We need to learn how to hold the reality of our presence amidst the flow of the digital current. This requires cultivating an awareness that allows us to observe the noise without being swept away by it. This practice begins with noticing where the weight settles in your body. Notice the tension in your shoulders, the quickening pulse in your chest, the tightness around your jaw. These are signals from your system telling you that you are not fully here. You are caught somewhere else. Perhaps in a memory, perhaps in a future plan, or most often, in the endless chatter of the digital space. To begin finding stillness, we must gently pull our awareness back to the immediate reality. This is not about ignoring the world, but about choosing where we place our attention. When you pick up your phone, pause before engaging. Take a slow breath and simply notice the physical sensation of holding the device. Feel the texture of the screen. Hear the sound of your own inhalation and exhalation. These small pauses are powerful acts of resistance against the relentless flow of distraction. The goal is to create space, a gentle, invisible space between the stimulus of the digital world and your internal reaction. This space is where true freedom resides. It is the silent pause that allows you to recognize the connection you are experiencing without automatically assigning it enormous emotional weight. By introducing this simple pause, we begin to shift from being reactive participants in the digital noise to becoming mindful observers of our own experience. This awareness, this gentle turning inward, is the first step toward reclaiming your inner stillness. It is recognizing that even within the complexity of modern life, there is a deep, unshakable calm waiting to be discovered, accessible right now, with this simple act of returning home to the present moment. We have learned the power of that pause, that small, deliberate space you create between the stimulus of the digital world and your internal reaction. Now, let us explore what happens when we truly examine the nature of this separation. We often live in a state where we feel profoundly distant from the flow of life, disconnected from others, or separated from our own true self. This feeling of distance, which feels so real and heavy, is what we call the illusion of distance. The digital world is designed to create these gaps. Every notification, every endless scroll, every stream of information pushes us further away from immediate, tangible reality. We look at a photo on a screen and feel a sense of separation, a distance created not by physical space, but by the mediated nature of the image. We connect with others through text, where tone is lost and intention is softened, creating an emotional gap between what is felt and what is communicated. This illusion convinces us that we are alone, or that the connection we seek is perpetually just out of reach. But if we rest in the reality of this illusion, we allow it to dictate our mood. We let the perceived distance generate anxiety, comparison, and a sense of being overwhelmed by the noise. The moment we recognize that this separation is an internal construct, a mental echo generated by our habits of attention, the power of the illusion begins to dissolve. The truth is, there is no true physical distance between us and the world. We are not isolated islands floating in a sea of digital static. Rather, the distance we experience is woven from the fabric of our own perception and attachment. It is the mental space created by craving, the desire for more stimulation, the need to categorize information quickly, the longing for an idealized version of connection that the screen promises but never delivers. Imagine the noise not as an external force pushing against you, but as a reflection in a mirror held up by your mind. The relentless stream of messages and images is merely the surface of your own internal landscape, momentarily illuminated by distraction. When we stop trying to bridge the gap with more input, when we simply observe the space between ourselves and the screen without judgment, the illusion collapses. This realization does not mean we abandon the world. It means we change how we inhabit it. We are still participants in life, engaging with people and experiences, but we shift our role from being a reactive passenger swept along by the current to becoming a mindful observer standing quietly on the shore. The weight of connection is not found in measuring the miles between us or trying to force intimacy through digital means. It is found in the simple, unhurried presence we allow ourselves to hold right here, right now. By letting go of the illusion of distance, we recognize that our true home is not found in the endless stream of what we consume, but in the quiet space within us, the deep, settled awareness that remains untouched by the flickering light of the screen. This openness allows the digital world to become simply a backdrop, rather than a demanding master of our attention. It liberates us to find stillness, knowing that true presence is never far away. It is always just behind the veil of distraction, waiting for us to turn our gaze back home. Rest now in this spacious awareness. We have recognized that true presence is not something we chase in the external world, but something held within us. Now, let us turn our attention inward and explore how we can actually anchor ourselves in this moment, especially when the digital tide attempts to pull us away. The present moment is not some distant, unreachable state. It is simply the space right here, right now, woven into the fabric of your breath. When the noise begins, the endless notifications, the scrolling feeds, the demands of instant response, it feels like a frantic rush, a desperate need to solve something immediately. But this urgency is the very thing that pulls us out of the present. To anchor ourselves, we must gently turn our attention back to the body, which is the most reliable place for stillness. Try bringing your awareness to the simple act of breathing. Don't try to change the rhythm. Just notice it. Feel the air entering your nose, warming in your chest, and leaving your body slowly. Notice the subtle shift in your posture, the weight of your body resting against the surface beneath you. These sensations are anchors. They are undeniable, they are immediate, and they belong entirely to this moment. When a thought, a worry about tomorrow, a memory from yesterday, or the anxiety sparked by a screen, arrives, do not engage it immediately. Do not chase it down into the future. Instead, acknowledge it gently, as if it were a cloud passing across the sky. Simply name it, "Ah, there is a thought," and then allow your focus to return softly to the sensation of the breath flowing through you. This practice is not about emptying your mind. It is about changing your relationship with the thoughts. You are not the thoughts. You are the space in which the thoughts arise and dissolve. Imagine your awareness as a quiet shore, and the digital noise is the restless ocean waves crashing against the sand. The anchor is not the attempt to stop the waves, that is impossible, but the deep, settled stillness of the sand beneath the water. When the waves of distraction come, We simply let them wash over us without grasping them, knowing that the shore remains untouched and solid. We can use this simple technique whenever you find yourself adrift in the digital current. Whenever your mind starts racing toward an unhelpful comparison or a demanding obligation, pause. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Feel the weight of your body connecting with the earth. Notice the sounds around you, the gentle hum of the room, the subtle shift of air, and allow yourself to inhabit them fully, without needing to categorize them or label them as important or unimportant. This is a practice of gentle return. It is an invitation to step out of the reactive mode and into the observant mode. You are not struggling against the noise. You are simply choosing where to place your attention. You choose the quiet space of the present moment, recognizing that true peace resides in this unhurried awareness, regardless of what flickers on the screen. Let the stillness settle deep within you now. Rest in the simple truth. Right here, right now, you are enough. May this anchored presence guide you into a deep and restorative sleep. The stillness we seek is not found in the silence of the empty room, but in the quiet space that opens up between the input and the response. We have learned to anchor ourselves in the present moment, recognizing that our awareness can find peace even amidst the digital current. But there remains another dimension, a subtle yet profound area we often overlook, the space that exists between the screens. Think of your attention as a river. The constant stream of notifications, comparisons, and demands flows relentlessly toward you. We spend so much energy trying to stop the flow, trying to filter out the noise, or trying to force our minds to sit still. But what if we stopped trying to control the current entirely? What if we learned to inhabit the space between the waves? This space is not empty. It is fertile. It is the pause that occurs when the notification flashes, but before the immediate urge to react takes hold. It is the momentary silence that exists after a demanding email arrives, or when you look away from the glowing light and find a brief moment of unburdened awareness. This gap is where freedom resides. It is the sanctuary where we can choose our response rather than simply reacting to the stimulus. In this space between the screens, the digital noise loses its power over us. We stop being prisoners of the feed and start realizing that we are not defined by the constant stream of information passing through us. When we allow ourselves to occupy this gap, we create room for true presence. It is here that the anxiety dissipates, replaced by a gentle sense of spaciousness. Imagine your mind as a vast, open field. The screens and notifications are like the wind sweeping across that field, bringing up distractions and demands. Our practice is not to block the wind entirely, that would be impossible, but to learn how to stand calmly in the center of the field, observing the wind without being swept away by it. The space between the screens becomes the ground where we plant our awareness. It is a quiet place where judgments fade, and where we can simply observe the flow of our own experience. This pause allows us to notice the subtle shifts within ourselves, the tension in the shoulders, the rhythm of the breath, the soft hum of internal feeling, without immediately attaching labels or stories to them. When you step into the space, you are not engaging with the content. You are simply being present. You recognize that the reality is not found in the endless scroll, but in the rich, quiet moment you are experiencing right now. This inner space is profoundly restorative. It is a gentle invitation to release the need for constant engagement and the relentless pursuit of external validation. By cultivating this awareness of the gap, we reclaim our inner stillness. We realize that true connection does not require endless input. It requires deep, unhurried presence. Let this space become your refuge, a place where you can rest from the demands of the digital world and reconnect with the deep, quiet truth of your own being. Allow yourself to settle into this open awareness. There is nothing to do but be. Rest in the simple knowledge that you are enough right here, right now, in this unhurried space. May this deep presence guide you toward a profound and restorative sleep. We have established that true connection doesn't require endless input, but deep, unhurried presence. Now, let us turn our attention inward, not just recognizing the space between the screens, but learning how to inhabit it fully. Reclaiming inner stillness is not about turning off the world. It is about adjusting your relationship with it. It is realizing that the noise outside is merely sound, and the silence within is where true peace resides. The digital world demands our attention in fragments. A notification here, an email there, a fleeting thought jumping from one topic to the next. This constant fragmentation keeps us tethered to reactivity. To reclaim stillness, we must practice allowing those fragments to pass without clinging to them, letting go of the compulsion to immediately respond or analyze every incoming signal. Imagine your mind as a vast, open field. Right now, it is often filled with seeds, thoughts, worries, plans, memories that are constantly being pulled by the wind of external stimuli. Our goal is not to stop the wind, but to learn how to stand quietly in the center of the field, watching the seeds drift by without being swept away. This is the practice of presence. How do we anchor ourselves when the digital tide tries to pull us out? We anchor ourselves in the simplest, most undeniable reality: the breath. The breath is the perfect anchor because it is always here, always now. When the digital noise becomes overwhelming, gently bring your awareness back to the physical sensation of breathing, the cool air entering your nostrils, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. This simple act shifts your focus from the chaotic landscape of external input to the solid reality of your internal body. Try this when you notice the familiar tension starting to build in your shoulders or the restlessness gathering in your chest. Instead of reaching for another screen, pause. Take 3 slow, deliberate breaths. Notice where the tension lives. Feel the subtle resistance, and then consciously soften that area, breathing into the space. This is not suppression. It is gentle acknowledgement. You are simply noticing the stress without immediately reacting to it. Think of your attention like a light. The digital world shines intensely, demanding our focus with bright, flashing screens. Inner stillness requires us to dim that external light and allow a softer, more internal light to glow. This internal light is patient, calm, and steady. It does not rush. It does not judge. It simply exists. We can bring this stillness into the mundane moments of our day. When you are drinking your morning tea, notice the warmth of the cup against your hands, the aroma rising, the simple act of tasting. When you walk, feel the contact between your feet and the ground beneath you. These small sensory experiences are gateways back to the present moment, allowing us to step out of the endless stream of digital thought and into the rich texture of lived experience. Reclaiming stillness is an ongoing practice, not a destination. There will be moments when the noise rushes in, pulling you away from the quiet you have cultivated. That is perfectly natural. The moment you notice yourself drifting back into distraction, do not judge yourself. Simply acknowledge it with kindness and gently guide your attention back to the anchor of your breath. This gentle return is the true work of stillness. Allow yourself to rest in this deep knowing. You are not defined by what you consume or what you respond to. You are defined by the quiet space within you, capable of holding peace regardless of the external clamor. Let this inner calm become your constant companion, a silent, steady presence that remains undisturbed by the digital noise. May this practice lead you into a profound and restorative rest, where true presence can finally settle deep within your soul. We have spent time learning how to anchor ourselves, recognizing that presence is not something we chase, but something we find within the space we already inhabit. Now, as we move into this final chapter, we turn our attention inward once more, allowing the practice of stillness to deepen into a state of true rest, a deep, restorative presence that settles into the very core of our being. Rest is not merely the absence of activity. It is an active quality of awareness. It is the permission we give ourselves to stop resisting the flow of the day and simply allow the body and mind to soften. Think of the digital noise that surrounds us, the endless scroll, the notifications, the ceaseless stream of information, as a river flowing rapidly past. We cannot stop the river, but we can learn to step onto the bank, allowing ourselves to observe the current without being swept away by it. Deep presence is the stillness found when we cease striving. It is the quiet space that exists behind the clamor of the external world. When you allow yourself to rest, you give yourself permission to let go of the need to analyze, judge, or fix anything. Let your awareness soften around your shoulders, relaxing the tension held in your jaw and the small knots in your hands. Feel the weight of your body against the surface beneath you, the mattress, the cushion, the earth itself. This simple physical contact is a profound invitation back to the present moment, pulling your attention away from the mental chatter and into the rich, undeniable reality of simply being here. When we rest deeply, we are not escaping the world. We are inhabiting it more fully. The digital noise still exists outside the door, but our internal landscape shifts. Instead of reacting instantly to every ping and notification, you begin to observe them with a gentle detachment, recognizing them as transient sounds rather than urgent demands. This shift allows for a profound sense of spaciousness. You realize that your true self is not defined by the constant stream of external input, but by this quiet inner capacity, this deep well of peace that remains untouched by the clamor. Allow this rest to be unconditional. Do not try to fill the silence with thought or effort. Simply allow the stillness to unfold naturally, softening the edges of your awareness until you feel deeply supported and profoundly calm. Let the breath become your anchor, a gentle rhythm guiding you into this deep state of repose. Feel the weight of your body sinking into comfort, letting go of any lingering tension that has accumulated throughout the day. This is the space between the moments, the quiet pause where true healing occurs. Rest is not an indulgence. It is a necessity. It is the time when the mind and body synchronize, allowing the nervous system to settle into a state of deep, restorative calm. Embrace this stillness as your sanctuary, a place where judgment dissolves and only gentle awareness remains. Let this feeling of deep presence become your constant companion, settling softly over you like a warm blanket. Rest now. Rest in the quiet knowing that you are held, you are safe, and you are present in this moment of deep peace. May this stillness carry you into a restorative sleep, allowing the gentle waves of calm to wash over you until you awaken refreshed and deeply centered.